hide.
Come on. So. Come on, Mooney. Come here.
Oh my god, you think she'd sit up there?
She'll climb on top of the table, which is also very cute. Come, Mooney. Come. Up, up. Up, up.
So how long have you had her?
Couple weeks, maybe, not quite.
Gosh.
Yeah, she's fresh as fuck, huh?
Super cute.
Do you want to go headphones or no headphones?
I'm not a headphones guy.
He's a no headphones man. Well, we'll join you.
Yeah.
Let me just do a check.
Yeah, dude.
Wonderful.
Yeah, dude.
Awesome. Well, fuck yeah, bro.
Yeah, thanks for coming. I feel like it's a long time in the making.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You've been on our hit list for a long time, believe it or not. But yeah, thanks for doing this, man, especially after a bit of a long day there we had.
We had a long day, yeah. And it's something that I've actually been looking forward to.
This.
Yeah.
That's
I feel
sweet.
like on the Elk Lodge podcast, I feel comfortable being more vulnerable, more transparent.
I love
I
that.
feel like, there's an intimacy between us, and there's a feeling of it's almost off the record.
Yeah, exactly. You could say just about anything. And it's almost as if no one's going to hear it. Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
That's rich.
I think we really try to hold on to that,
Right.
so that, our guests stay comfortable. But yeah, man, thanks so much. Is it easier for you being a guest or being a host?
Oh, I don't know. I would say probably easier to be a guest.
Like you feel more pressure as the host. Like I got to keep this thing moving or something.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Do you ever feel pressure like I got to be a good guest? Or is it like I'm just going to do my thing and I don't know.
Yeah, but then again, I mean, sometimes I feel like pressure to be a good guest, and then I'm not a good guest. Like, and a lot of the time, I feel like, man, I'm really good at being a podcast guest. So I don't know. There's some times that it has evaded me, but in general, I think I'm pretty solid with it.
Yeah. Well, fuck yeah.
Do you have like any terribly awkward moments on the podcast on either side that come to mind?
I mean, there was just a solid month or so where, like, I just had one catastrophe after another
As a guest.
as a guest. Yeah,
So what was up with that? Like,
I don't know.
you think you were just stressed? You were promoting your book?
I was promoting the Bucket List special.
Okay.
That was, I think, the more catastrophic run. Unless you want to remind me of
Which one are we talking about? I don't even know.
which catastrophe. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I was just burned out. Maybe I was just pushing too hard to promote. It was
Like
just
too-
like,
Promo mode too much?
yeah, I was just too much in promo mode, and I couldn't, like, the listeners, they're like, okay,
Right.
It's like if you're going to listen to an entire hour-long podcast, but it's only an ad read.
Right.
Yeah. So, that was tough.
Yeah, at that point you're like sick of hearing yourself say it. Like it's just like, okay.
Right.
Yeah, not everyone was. But yeah, hey,
But
man.
you're sort of like repeating things on every show, right? There are things you have to say on each show. Like, yeah, go
Sure.
get it. Go get the
Yeah.
special. I do this. I
Yeah.
do that. And you find...
For sure. I've also beaten myself up a lot. I've acknowledged people beating me up. I've joined in and beating me up. So yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, it's...
Of
course.
Do you think self-promotion is awkward in general, or you think you would just like overdone it in that instance?
I think historically, I think I've been generally pretty good at it. But maybe not anymore. I don't know.
I mean, no, that's not true. Your self-promotion is great. Like, I don't know. I look up to you in that way because I'm like, so I'm scared to show my music to people, or like, what if people don't like it? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I get this apprehension about it.
It's easier for me to recommend Paul's band than to say like you should listen to the music we make. Like I'm like, you know, it is. I don't know. It can be awkward.
But you've always been like, if someone walks in, like, watch this video we made. You know, like you're just genuinely psyched about it. You know, like
yeah.
So yeah,
you might be the most like hardworking guy I know.
Well, thanks.
Yeah,
I'd like to consider myself a pretty hard worker.
I think so. Yeah. You too. You're up there. You're right up there.
No, well, I thought I was a hard worker till I met Steve.
I think I would qualify as a hard worker, and I think Paul's more of a natural talent.
You don't think you're a natural talent?
I mean, I think I've got a natural what do you call it? Extrovert kind of personality. Maybe I'm like
right.
I'm very like I've like if attention seeking was a talent, then yeah. But I don't know. I just like I've got a great desire and ambition. And I don't know that that's the same thing as having talent. I think I'm a reasonably intelligent guy with like great drive and, you know, some creative.
Girls.
You know, I've got some creative inspiration at times, but still, I don't think all of that is necessarily talent.
But not even stand-up comedies, not a talent. Or even just storytelling, video. Like you're a filmmaker.
All right.
Really, you know.
I'm nothing without you, Doug.
Oh, that's too kind.
I mean, I've always said
you were a lot without me.
Yeah.
Actually, you're.
But I've always maintained that that your you know, sensibility for storytelling, your you know, like I value your natural talent so much.
Go on.
Yeah.
No, thanks. I don't know. When you say that, I appreciate it so much, and
and I always mean it too.
I believe you.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I was telling Daniel, I was like, I don't know, because Daniel's like, help me like get better at this stuff. And I was like, dude, I have no clue what I'm doing. Like, you know, I don't know.
Well, it's like when we're making a video, like where we shoot what's called the talking head. Mm-hmm. You know, the footage of me narrating through the video, telling the story and have it plugged in. And you're just always so, just, you know, super, you know, plugged into the big picture of it. And like, no, let's, you know, I just love the way that you direct me and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we work really good together. That's for sure. Like, we have this great system we can just crush. That skydiving video, I loved it. And like,
it picked up too. It was
views-wise.
It was dying at first. And I was
funny.
But
you're like, what do I got? How many times I got to jump out of a fucking airplane?
It's really, it makes me happy to see that one pick up.
You freaked me out with that one. I was like, how is he going to know? Because, you know, I imagine when you're about to jump out of a plane, there's like a checklist of things you're going over before you do it. And I was like, how will he know that like he did that buckle and this buckle, like this one? Or is it going to be a false memory and he's going to have done it the time before? Like I was stressed about that.
I'm not really the buckle guy.
You were in good hands.
Yeah.
That freaked me out.
They have a whole thing where they're like, they check all of your buckles.
Okay, good. I'm like, I hope there's a double, triple checking going on.
I mean, there are numerous buckles, and they check every last one of them.
What's that? Like, how long does that take? Like, it's like, is that just like buckle, check? Like they have it down to a dance?
It's like, here's buckle. Yeah.
Okay. So it's...
Yeah. They do a lot of safety checking.
And what about folding the chute? Like, who folds the chutes? Like your life is in that guy. Whoever that
Right.
person is, that's the most important person there, I feel like. I could check a buckle, you know. But like you should see my laundry. I mean, I'm not good at folding.
He doesn't
know.
fold shit.
Not a talent that I have.
Yeah, I mean it's a wild thing, but when you get right down to it, like driving a car is the most dangerous thing. That was the wild thing.
true.
Was driving home from the skydive place, which was like 2 hours away. Just the whole like, oh, I'm going really fast, and like there's stuff in front of me, like like
Yeah.
it just coming from a day of skydiving and then driving the car.
Right.
Like I just viewed driving totally differently. Like
Sure.
It's interesting.
it's driving's really dangerous. Man.
It's like the most dangerous thing, and we all do it. Everybody does
Right.
it. Everybody is like risking their life at every moment.
Right, like your employers are asking you to risk your life every day. They're like,
To
come
come
to
to
work.
work.
Come. You
Yeah.
got this. Like, come every day.
I know, and especially like I'm not a good driver.
Right.
I'm bad.
So it's even more dangerous for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like, I'm really not that great going backwards, but forward I do all right. What's your, like, weak spot?
I think that I chronically engage a lot of different thoughts at one time. So like I'm never really paying attention to anything because I'm thinking so many things at once. Like it's just and so it's really difficult for anybody to navigate a relationship with me, and it's really difficult for me to drive safely.
It's the same things are going on in your
head. Yeah, I just have too much going on. Like, and I don't know if that's like a trait of alcoholism. I think it is, but just a lot of thinking going on. Like way too much thinking to.
Repetitive thinking, or is there like some kind of like puzzle you're trying to solve and you just can't seem to get it?
At times it's repetitive, thinking the same thing in a loop.
Right.
And every time you go around the loop, you just,
Right.
But there's also just, like it just kind of ADHD type stuff. And come on, good girl.
When you're always brainstorming, it seems,
Yeah.
It's interesting too. I feel like that's probably your greatest strength is that your mind is always turning up new things. But it can also be like the greatest weakness too. It's
I think anytime somebody has whatever anybody's greatest strength is, will also double as their greatest weakness.
It's kind of wild how that works.
You said that a while back, and I've repeated it many times.
I know, I'm
and
pretty
took credit
wise
for it.
sometimes.
No, I gave you credit, but yeah, it's totally true. Like,
And finally, we got Moon Pie.
hey,
She
there we
is
go.
such a beauty, honestly.
Dude, I'm so stoked on her.
She's a sweetie, and she's on the table. Welcome.
Hello.
Hey, cutie.
Hi.
You're the first dog we've had on the table on the
Hi.
show. So you think it's constantly going. It's not like your brain goes like, I'm getting in the car, so like, and some part of your brain says like, this is time to think now. But like it was just going the whole time anyway.
Right. It's always going. And when I'm really turned on for something like then I'll have like that super focus.
Sure. And you'll demand the result immediately. I mean, like, well, there you go. There's a sneeze coming. There must be.
So cute.
Were you like that as a kid? Like all the racing thoughts and like just like
For sure.
can't focus. I mean, it would probably be you'd be on Ritalin if you were growing up these
I
days,
think,
right, or something. If they're still doing that.
I seem to recall that my parents made every effort to get me like medicated because I was just such a nightmare as a kid. I was just such a handful. And they just couldn't find a doctor that would drug me up.
Just raising a kid in the wrong era.
Yeah, you were
honestly,
born in the
man.
wrong decade.
If it were the 90s, they would have been just
Right.
mainlining that shit for you.
Yeah.
That's
Man.
wild.
What an angel this dog is. I
Jeez.
can't wait
So
for us to
cute.
make the video about her.
I know I was going to say, do you want to tell her story? But maybe that's
I mean, it's no big deal. It's famously, Wendy, terrified of riding on the bus. Wendy was always so good at flying on airplanes. Never an issue. I'd have her service dog vest on her. She'd go on the airplanes, and then we had this little bump in popularity, and next thing you know, we're on a tour bus going to theaters, and it was for far too long that I let Wendy just be traumatized by riding on the bus. I got to a point where I can't do it anymore. The last thing I ever wanted to do was not be with Wendy, but I had to.
That's love, Steve. That is love.
Yeah, I had to, and so ever since then, I've just been longing to find a dog that isn't scared of riding on a bus.
Yeah.
So I rode the bus to an animal shelter and test drove dogs.
And she was the second one you took around?
She was the second one I took. Both of those dogs were perfectly fine, seemingly perfectly fine with being on the bus.
Mm-hmm.
But this one was way more the affectionate one of the two.
Oh my God, she seems. I mean,
She's a
I've
lover
just met her
pie.
and she was snuggling on me, and then watching you come home, lay on the ground, and she just crawls on top of you. It seems like she's just.
I've not heard her
sweeter.
bark once. I mean, I've had her for almost 2 weeks. Not heard her bark once. Not seen her. She just loves everything and everyone.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
That's perfect
Super
for you.
gentle.
Never had a coarse word about anybody.
You're a good girl, for real, for real.
Yeah, it's going to be fun taking her on the tour, man. Having a dog around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yesterday, I was hiking in New Mexico with her.
Sick.
I felt almost like a jerk because, I mean, I don't know. She was doing fine. But we were 3 miles, up the, uphill. And she was doing fine. But as soon as we turned around to head back down, all of a sudden, something flipped and she's just straight zoomies.
Oh, wow.
And that whole 3 miles back down, she's just zoomies. And then I started getting nervous. I was like, oh, this dog needs more exercise than maybe I can reasonably provide for her. But then I thought, yeah, right. I'm the fucking Mr. Fitness.
Seriously.
And you just took her on a 3 mile hike,
Yeah.
I think dogs just get the zoomies, especially she's not a puppy, but she's younger,
Yeah, I mean.
Right? The zoomies is not a sign of a dog not exercising enough.
I get the
think, is it?
zoomies every night when I stay up past my bedtime. You know?
yeah, you get
it
the
happens.
sillies.
Yeah, it happens. I don't know. I think it's just bursts of energy. I don't think it's necessarily is age related. I think.
Yeah.
You guys are trying to have children.
Yes.
Steve is here to convince us that it's a mistake.
I mean, I respect you so much.
It freaks me out. Don't get me wrong.
There was a conversation we were having about what was it, the best ways to die, and you were like, nope, we were also talking about the best way you could possibly die is how JFK.
You guys
died
JFK had it the best.
Yeah, we all agreed. JFK had it the best. He was the streets were lined with adoring fans. He was waving at his adoring fans. He was the man.
Right.
Just cruising and come on, right in the back of the head. Didn't see it coming. Instant death. We're that's the best way to get. And Paul's nope. I want to. What would you say? I want to be able to say goodbye to people I love. I want to.
It's quite a luxury to be able to.
And I just want to process death. Wow, I'm gonna die.
I know, and I've thought about that. And that's why I bring it up and regurgitate it for people who probably already saw that. That was impactful to me. Wow, only Paul Brisky would think, no, death is beautiful. Death is beautiful. It's an experience that I don't want to hide from. I don't want to
I think I'd
I wanna be
rather
in it.
not see it coming. But like not with a whole audience. Maybe more like Elvis Presley style, just like quietly on the shitter.
Just taking a shit,
You know,
and just
or
go
just
out.
something private. I don't know if I want a whole,
I mean,
whole parade.
my grandmother passed away maybe 5 years ago now. She was 93, and she went to the hospital, and they were like, you have a blood clot here, and you're internally bleeding here. So like the medication to fix this makes this worse, and vice versa. So like you got 2 weeks left. And so like she moved into my parents' house. We all flew home. Like her sister flew in from Canada. Like she was calling people this whole 2 weeks, saying goodbye to everybody. Like everybody who wanted to like come see her, celebrate her, got to do that. And I just thought like, dude, it's like, as far as death goes, like ignoring like animals, even just for humans, like that's she got one of the best deaths maybe anyone's ever got, you know? So like, I don't know. That's what I would like. I would like to be old, and I would like to be told like you got 2 weeks and like just ride it out. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's beautiful. It's very Paul Brisky. I also observe or understand that some people really fear death. Some people are very peaceful about it. My mom feared it right up until the very end, and she clung to life when life seemed so devoid of any value. You know, like my mom's quality of life was so low.
It was like about unbearable, yet she still just couldn't let go of it.
Unbearable. She was like physically, mentally disabled. That wasn't even the bad part. She was in just terrible pain with the bed sores and stuff. She was in agony, excruciating physical pain and clinging to life, like with fear.
Yeah.
And then there are other people that are just super peaceful about it.
Yeah, I'm psyched about it. I'm in no rush. I'm in no rush, but I'm looking forward to it.
You know, like I'm not gonna say that I'm looking forward to it, but with the way that I've carried on in my my life and my career,
I don't think that's gonna work for you.
Moo, you cannot make that leap. Moo's like reaching. That's farther than your little eyes can tell. Sorry, you were saying.
Farther.
Yeah, for real. You're saying your career and your life?
I can't help but think. Again, I'm not looking forward to it. But I can't help but think that the way I've carried on in my life and in my career, just sort of putting myself into like awful situations and painful stuff and this and that, that's all gonna benefit me when it all comes down. You know, like it hit me with some kind of a terminal illness, like some kind of a real predicament, and it's like, oh, okay, so this is one of my shitty stunts, you know?
Okay, right.
It's like, oh, I spent my whole life like kind of dealing with shit like this, like,
right.
So I don't know, like, and maybe it's bad to say that, maybe it's
I don't think you're gonna cause cancer by saying that, you know?
Right, I just like I part of me thinks, yeah, man, like I'm really glad I put myself through so many hellish situations because they're coming.
Yeah. So you'll be able to process it. You're like, okay, this is like the burns. It's not even as bad as the burns, actually. You know, if I think about it, yeah.
Right, like it's just gonna be more of the hellish shit.
Do you think, like, along the way, you've made peace with death, or you think you just kind of always just were able to put it out of your mind as you're leaping out of a plane several times in a day?
I think that on some level, death was at the forefront of my mind, like, you know.
But you weren't off her a few times. You've thought like I might die right now, but that was a rare feeling. Like we made a video
Yeah.
about that, of like
Yeah.
times we should have died or whatever, and
Times we
could have died.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't, but we should have. Yeah. But like, but there were few. That was rare that you're like, shit, I might actually die right now.
Yeah, I mean, could have died with like the lion in the tree, and times 10 times.
But in the
we
moment,
coulda died.
But you thought like, shit, this is it, right?
I was actually kind of badass with the lion in the tree. I was like, okay, here we go, and I just kind of went limp, and I wasn't a bitch
ready to
about it.
die. You were like, this is.
I wasn't a bitch about it. I was like, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
Did you have those thoughts of like, this is it? This is how I go?
It seemed the very, very, very plausible.
Yeah. Logic would indicate that
Yeah.
I'm about to die. There is a lion trying to eat me right now.
I mean, not like you'll know, but I feel like you need to die in a way like that. Like you can't pass in your sleep at 85.
Oh, are
Like
you
that
gonna
will
be
be
bummed
very
if you have-
anticlimactic.
Nah, I'm not tripping.
You're not going to let us down, are you? And just do a boring ass death.
Not
are
gonna
you?
die of the shitter. No.
Yeah, I don't know.
Would you want to live forever if it was offered to you?
Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, you need some sort of
But then
vacation,
again- Then again, I think I'm going to share something that I've never shared. Period. Even like whether on a podcast or. But when I was a kid, I was a late puberty bloomer. Mm-hmm. So the other kids had like pubic hair. Like I would see it like when they're changing the locker room for PE class. Like it was like pubic hair. Like I don't have that, Like and I remember thinking to myself, you inspired if I were offered to live forever, and I think, well, thank God, I'm not offered that, because now it reminded me when I was a little kid. I wanted to make like some kind of a deal with like the universe, whatever. Like I want pubic hair so bad, right? Because I don't have any, and the other kids have. So like, just give me a little, like now, and that's all I ever get.
So you'd have like slight, just beginning of puberty pubes forever.
Yeah. I've definitely never shared this on any level, even in a like personal conversation that wasn't recorded. Like, and that's
funny.
That's I was even like on some level praying for that. Like let me just have that. Like
Right.
let me just have a little. And that's
funny.
all I'll ever get.
It's like deal or no deal. It's like you can walk away with $10,000 now, or and you were ready to take the 10K. You weren't going to go
Right.
for the million. You were
Right.
like, I want the 10,000 right now.
Right, and again, just like if you were offered to live forever, it's like thank God I wasn't offered, to have
Because you'd have little boys' pubes. It was like, would your dick have stayed the same size too? Probably would have, right? That was part of the deal, yeah. Just like, just catch me up with everybody else who's also 13, and then you could stop right there.
I just needed a little nudge.
It's like so short-sighted, You're like, I just want to look good Monday. That's all I need. Like, I don't care about anything after that.
Fuck Monday. It's just first period gym class,
Yeah.
I just
I could just have a dick like.
Well, you obviously
Bruce
got
over
over
there.
that. I mean, Paul's seen your dick 1 billion times, That's
Seen your
good.
dick quite much. Yeah, were you embarrassed to be naked in front of the other kids because you were?
Nah, I mean, I guess I was. I don't know.
Like, at what age were you like, here's my dick? Like,
Ooh, I don't know.
Because most people aren't. I mean, I consider myself a pretty like open guy. I don't mind getting naked, but I'm not a like, here's my dick guy.
Right. Man, I can't think of. It had to have been at some. I don't know, man.
When you finally got those pubes, probably. You know, you're just so stoked. You're shouting it from the rooftops.
Yeah.
Like college? Would you get naked in college?
That wasn't like my shtick, man. That wasn't. I was more like drunk.
Right.
You know, like.
So you got to a point you just needed new material, and so the pants came off.
Yeah,
You're
I
like,
guess so.
it's time to get nude.
Yeah.
What a journey you've been on, Steve.
Tell me about
How does it feel to be like at the peak of your mental, physical health? I feel like.
Well, that's a kind suggestion.
Well, I mean, you placed first in this triathlon. I know
Yeah.
you've been really committed and working hard.
I've been,
That was fucking impressive.
well, thanks, man. I'm very grateful to be 50 years old, and like it doesn't seem like I'm 50 years old. I mean, and there, like we were talking about this with Chris Pontius. You know, we just had him like whatever, it was like the third Wild Ride episode with Chris Pontius.
We'll put a link in the description so that you can drive traffic to it.
And it was like we were saying in jest, but kind of not really, and you know that how a lot of people who are 50 years old, like they don't look like, they look bad. Mm-hmm. There's people younger than, you know.
Sure.
And like I feel like Chris and I have aged pretty well.
And I didn't mean peak, like there's nowhere to go from here. But I just mean,
like,
you know.
I think that if we're honest, I think we, like the peak was a long time ago. But for being 50, like I think I'm killing it.
Absolutely.
Killing it.
Well, but your diet, you're biking so much, you're exercising so much.
I eat
like,
a lot of Taco Bell.
You did just snarf down some
I
Taco
noticed
Bell.
that we have that in common, a deep love
yeah.
for Taco Bell. What's
Yeah.
your order?
Veggie Power Bowl.
I've never had that. Okay.
Yeah, and veggie Mexican pizza.
For
I'm not
veggie,
that proud of the Mexican pizza, but I just ate one.
that they have us right where they want us, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a vegetarian, it's got the most options for sure.
I understand that Taco Bell is the healthiest of all the fast food chains.
I think especially true when you're skipping the meat,
Yeah.
because that's the real,
Skipping the
the
meat.
shittiest of the shit on their menus.
But healthiest of the fast foods. That's like,
Well, I mean, if you think about like when I ordered my veggie bowl,
yeah.
it's there's nothing deep fried. There's nothing breaded. Mm-hmm. There's not like no fried, no you know, the like processed meat. I mean, I'm sure you could probably I don't know. I mean, it's beans and rice and veggies.
Some of the hidden stuff is like literally that it's wrapped in crap. You know, like the little papers that they wrap it in. It's like toxic.
Oh, really?
That's what
like
I've heard.
Microplastics and shit?
Yeah,
Or
but
what?
how about this? Anybody's ever worked at a Taco Bell that I'm aware of swears by Taco Bell.
That's a good sign.
Yeah, when the employees are down,
Right.
when the employees are on their break and they go around to the other side of the counter and
That's a good sign. You're right. I had a friend who worked at Little Caesars, and they said, I'll never eat Little Caesars ever
A lot
again.
of times, I guess pizza, like the cheese, is just not even real cheese.
At Little Caesars?
Or just like
Or just
on
other shitty
on
pizza
frozen
spots?
pizzas and like pizza chains. It's just, I've heard it's real lame.
Yeah, I mean, it's a predicament to like make a pizza and have it come to my house that I just got to throw it in the oven. Like, that's a lot of hoops to overcome there.
yeah.
You got to process something.
And okay, on my unhealthy diet, there's the Taco Bell is like not that big of a deal, but like my main thing is I cut out flour and sugar. So like no bread, just no sugar. And where the lines got kind of blurry and shit got kind of weird was when I started discovering how much shit there is that doesn't have sugar. Like with these energy drinks, these no sugar energy drinks. I mean, you look at the can, some of these energy drinks, and it's like, get the fuck out of here. You're going to put that in your body.
Yeah.
And I'm like, doesn't have sugar.
Right.
You know? I
I mean,
like,
Diet Coke doesn't have sugar.
Meanwhile,
right?
your heart's skipping every 12th beat for the rest of your life. It's just like, boop, 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 boop.
Right,
Yeah.
and then I'm getting somewhere with this. This is just crazy. At the checkout stand at the grocery store, they have the impulse purchase.
Sure.
And like everyone, there's icebreakers, the little plastic tin. It's like a dip can,
Yeah,
except
the
it's got
mints. Yeah.
sugar-free mints. So icebreakers, sour, no sugar. So I can't stop myself. I get it. And then once I have the tin, all in one, like four of them. And then it's like, okay, I'm done with them, chew it up. And then, okay, now, like, okay, 6 of them, you know, like, and then chew them up. Now, okay, now I'm up to like 8 of them, you know, until.
You go right to opening up the, like, it's like there's the share side and there's the just for you side.
Right.
You're like, I don't know what that just for you side is even for. I don't know who that is.
You can actually pour them pretty good out of that hole.
Oh, yeah? Okay, you
Yeah,
can
I
get
do.
a good
I
rhythm.
do.
Yeah.
And like, the thing is that I can't stop myself from consuming the entire tin in like one sitting.
Mm-hmm.
But by the time I'm done with the tin, I have the gnarliest stomach ache. Like, I'm like physically unwell. Now I had this happen in crazy fashion the other night. This is as I was riding across country
On the road, yeah.
with Moon Pie.
Because you just drove here on the tour bus from Tennessee.
I would have flown to meet the bus so that it's like I'm not just sitting on the bus for 4 days in a row.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't gonna get this new dog and leave her on her own. I'll just, you know, like, so I just purely to be with the dog. And where the fuck was it? Maybe it was in Arkansas. Maybe it was in Oklahoma. Doesn't matter.
They're kind of the
either way.
same thing, anyway.
It was in Oklahoma.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, cool. Like the sun hasn't even really gone down. I went to the bike store, and now we're going around walking the dog, and like go to Target. So that's where I get the icebreakers. Meanwhile, too, keep in mind, the bus is now wrapped with the fully obnoxious Steve-O, the Super Dummy Tour. My face is like the whole bus, Steve-O, the whole bus. And like, I'm working my way back to the bus with all these bags of groceries and I'm just gobbling this fucking tin of icebreakers, walking the dog. And I realized, oh man, I gotta poo. Like, really, I gotta poo. I got all the groceries. I got the dog. I get to the bus, and I'm like, okay, like, I'm gonna put down the groceries on the ground. Start to fish the bus key out of my pocket. Like, now, and the dog's just running around. Gotta let go of the leash. The dog's running around. And then it occurs to me, I don't stand a chance. I'm not gonna make it, like, to the toilet, like, I was thinking I'm going to go poop in the lobby of the hotel that the bus is parked at. But I'm not going to make it. So the dog's running around all over the place. The door to the bus is wide open. The bags of groceries are all on the ground. And I'm not going to make it. So I fucking start shitting on the fucking... Like,
In the parking lot? Just on the ground?
like on the grass next to the
Oh, no.
on the grass next to the bus.
You're squatting?
Squatting. Right. And
The ultimate squatty potty.
And I was able to, because they were right on the like the dash, right jammed down by the window, or the windshield,
Yeah.
on the dash, like a packet of Steve-O's butt wipes for your butthole.
Yep.
I did get those.
Okay.
But I got my shorts around my fucking ankles. I'm just straight squatting, shitting on the grass, like wiping, like it's messy. So like I'm like wiping with a butt wipe, and like, you know, throwing it on the ground and then just squirting more poo out of my, and like, you know, and like this whole scene.
Yeah.
And that's when the car pulls in because they see the bus says Steve-O. And the guy like hit the guy, you know, and I'm like, at this point I'm like, he's just pulled up, he's about to get out, and I'm like, all right. like all right. So now I'm gonna, like, I know this is like probably the worst thing to do right now because I'm not like properly wiped and cleaned, but now I'm just gonna pull up my boxer shorts. I'm gonna pull up my shorts. Just pretend everything's cool.
Just bail.
Just pretend everything's cool, even though it's not.
Please tell me you did not shake his hand.
I don't think I did. I don't think I shook his hand, but it was just like the guy came and he was like, hey man, like, dude, my friend is such a big fan. And I said, oh man, that's great. Like, I got a lot going on right now.
I got my hands full at the moment.
I got a lot going on right now. And the guy was like, oh, dude, I don't mean to bug you. And I was like, no. They're like, by all means, like, take a photo. Let's take a photo together. I've just got a lot going on. And like, and by the time we like to take the photo together, then I'm like, did you not know that when you pulled up, I was shitting? Like, you know, I like motioned to like the butt wipes and all the shit everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like, oh, no, you know, like, yeah, that's what I meant. Like,
Right.
I kind of, there's a strong chance I had actually gotten away with it, but then I told on myself.
But how could you? I mean, because he pulled up saying, "Oh, that's Steve-O. I'll pull my car up." Right.
Yeah, he's supposed to be nice. He's being polite. He's like, I can't believe I just rolled up on Steve-O shitting everywhere.
Right.
He leaves. I'll smell you later, Steve-O.
Yeah.
I mean, see you later.
You're the shit, man. You're like, oh, you did see it. Wow.
Man.
Yeah.
And that's from the icebreakers. That's icebreaker diarrhea. Broke the ice with that guy. I mean, he really started got the conversation going.
I mean, it's hard to imagine that the icebreakers could, like, get into my stomach, like, disrupt all of the food that's in my system, turn it into diarrhea, and split. But
I don't know, though, because, like, those icebreakers, like, what is it? Right? Okay, there's no sugar in it, but, like, what is in it? It's not food, you know? Like, and by the time it's, like, you know, boiled into whatever, like, what is floating around in your body?
It throws off the pH balance, I would imagine.
I think that it was absolutely icebreaker diarrhea.
Icebreaker diarrhea. Good band name.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be, instead of me and Brendan's Midwest, will be Icebreaker Diarrhea.
Yeah.
That sounds like a punk band from like the 80s or something.
That book that I talk about all the time, Conversations with God, like in the dialogue, you know, God's like, you know, that's one of the problems with you humans, you know, like, you've got all these absurd substances posing as food.
Yeah.
Absurd substances posing as food.
Especially in this country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Icebreaker, damn.
Dude, how about the fact that, like, the food that we eat, like, routinely in America is just completely fucking illegal everywhere else.
Isn't that insane? In the makeup, too, that we wear, and, like, face washes, shampoos, everything.
Yeah, like, is that... Because now everybody knows that. Like, that's common knowledge, too. Like, everyone eating is like, you know, this is poison, right? And they're like, yeah, I heard that, too. Like, everybody knows that now. So, like, is it going to change, you think, or it's staying the same? Like,
I don't know. I
think it's like there's no middle of the road anymore. You know, I think that, like, the fucking squad, like, is all the way turned up to 11 on fuck it.
So it's like, you're worried about the food? Guess what? I'll eat that shit. I'll eat a gallon of icebreakers. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think, like, the middle of the road isn't so much.
Yeah, it's gnarly.
Well, and it's just so damn hard to make good choices, you know? It's like, even if you want to do it, it's so hard. Like sugar is probably hiding in just about everything, you know? Like you don't think about sugar when you order the dish like pad thai, but it's loaded with sugar.
Right, or like
you
a
know?
salad dressing. Like if you buy a salad dressing, like ranch is full of
It's like,
sugar.
Sure, I'm looking at a slice of cake and I'm like, okay, that's loaded with sugar, but it's
Right.
just hiding everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, is it hard to not eat sugar? Like
When it's hard is out at restaurants. You know, like I think all kinds of
Damn near
sugars
impossible.
getting by that I just don't know about.
right, like probably in the Taco Bell there was probably sugar, like either in the sauce or the something.
I don't know.
I imagine though that your taste buds have shifted quite a bit because like if you go on like a green smoothie kick for a week and you kind of give up sugar, all of a sudden you have something that's not a natural sugar and it like, you know, it just
what's
like
fucking-
burns your teeth all of a sudden. It's
What's
over the
insane?
top.
How goddamn delicious fruit is, and we're like fucking around with like nature makes the dopest candy.
So
For
true.
sure.
Well, and I'm
And,
growing
like,
up.
it explodes in your mouth like
It's like-
gushers. Like eat a blueberry, like it's a gusher.
Yeah.
Like it fucking pops and like.
I mean, right now on the bus, I've got a thing of strawberries. I'm just like eating them. Like, wait, what?
right.
And then I saw something that said that if you put strawberries like in a dehydrator,
I like those.
like
Like a dried
that
strawberry.
like it'll like dehydrate your. That it's like the best fucking candy of all time.
Really
Wow.
good. Frozen grapes are interesting too, because you would think
Yeah.
that they'd be like so solid and hard to bite, but they have this like weird little
Yeah.
semi-frozen inside. It's oddly satisfying.
My teeth are too sensitive for like frozen. Frozen. If someone gives me a frozen grape, I have to put it in my mouth and just wait as it like thaws out, and then see if I can get back to it. You know?
But I also like growing up would put sugar on strawberries to eat them as a kid. Did you guys do this? This is like my
Yeah,
dad would do
powdered
that.
sugar, I would
yeah,
cover 'em,
it's
yeah.
like they're already so sweet.
I used to put sugar on everything, like
Yeah.
my cereal. You know, like
Ugh.
Frosted
You
Flakes.
still do
add
that. You put
sugar.
Oreos in your cereal, and I'm like, this
Yeah.
is. I mean, it's
I like
good. Don't get
Oreos.
me wrong. But,
Oreos is where I don't give a fuck. I'm a don't give a fucker on Oreos.
Okay, yeah.
but I'm already feeling guilty about the sugar in the cereal. You know, I'm like, that's a lot right now. It's like basically a bowl of sugar.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Do you guys upload this podcast to the audio only channels, or is it strictly YouTube?
No, it goes audio only as well.
Okay,
So some people have missed that there was a dog on the table. They'll have to go to YouTube, check that out.
right. And I'm just thinking that now the dog is not on the table. Now the dog is on my lap, and I'm like losing my mind, needing to know if this table is blocking that camera from seeing. The
Let me
dog
see.
on my
I'll
lap.
find out for you. I got
Yeah,
you.
Might be. It's possible.
I know, and I'm getting no credit for this
You know,
dog.
I didn't even know. Honestly, I didn't even know she was down there.
A little bit of her cute.
This dog is just it has poured itself all over me.
She's cute, man.
This shot.
Oh yeah, there's that shot. She's on the wide.
Is great.
She's on the wide. All right, so pivoting from fruit,
Yeah.
some proper Steve-O questions here,
Okay, good.
because I don't know, you're a bit of a legend.
Well, thanks, man.
Do you think that's fair to say? Do you? Because people throw around the word legend a lot. Hey, this guy's a legend. But I think you qualify.
I'll take it.
I definitely say so.
Like
I
looking
mean,
back on your life, you're mostly stoked. I mean, because you're just so hard on yourself, you know. Like,
Definitely hard on myself.
but you're hard on yourself today. But you look back and you say, like, I'm dope back there, but I suck today, you know.
I don't know. I'm just so even like the worst of it all. You know.
You're
Like-
stoked
like
on it.
Me at my worst, like
Yeah.
was pretty epic.
Well, I think that's remarkable about you because, like, I'm a person that feels shame very deeply, like, even when it's probably inappropriate, like, unfair. But I feel like you just have never let yourself get put into that box, you know? Like, you've used every moment as, like, a stepping stone. You've used it all, the good, the bad, the ugly, the shit, you know?
Yeah.
That's pretty remarkable.
But in the day, you're like the opposite. You're like, you're I don't know. You're so hard on yourself today, but when you look back on your past, you're like, it's great. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that I can look back on my past and feel good about it. Feel like really, if not proud, like grateful for it. Mm-hmm. Because at every given moment in that past, I was beating myself up to try to be better. You know, like it's just never. It's like my whole argument that like if we were to be happy, like if I was to be happy, like what would that mean? Like I'd be content. Like I'd be like cool with what's going on. Like that sounds dangerously close to lazy. You know, like
You too. That's why I think you guys have that in common. I think maybe that's part of what makes you guys such a good team.
But this is one of the things I disagree with Steve on the most. Like, I think you could be happy and say, I'm gonna get skydive certified. I'm gonna jump on an airplane 4 times. But like overall,
yeah,
like I'm okay. You know, like you can be happy and productive, right? Like,
yeah, I don't know.
like you kind of have put yourself in this trap where like you're like telling yourself I have to be unhappy. Like I can't be happy.
I mean,
That's
maybe,
like,
you know, but then again. Maybe I'm evolving to a point where it's like, hey, like, fuck it, you know? Because I know that, like, when I'm in Tennessee, just chilling on the ranch, I think I might actually be happy, like, a lot.
I was wondering about that with Lux, you know, like in a partnership, you know, how much has that helped you like learn? Like, okay, I can't always be in like overdrive mode. I do need to be present and be here, you know?
Yeah, I mean, with Lux, like, she's not in Tennessee as much. I think that she, like, has a tougher time, like, letting go of her roots. Her roots are in California, her friends, her, like, for her, like, her jobs, you know, more. Like, I can fuck off to Tennessee and that whatever, like, my shit will kind of follow me, like, wherever I go. Mm-hmm. It's like we work remotely, like, oh, we're still doing exactly what we're doing, except you're in Tucson and I'm in Tennessee, you know, like, oh, we're still at the podcast or whatever, you know, like, so I don't really have roots, I've come to learn. I could be just chilling in Tennessee and just annoyed by anything that distracts my attention from just being on the ranch.
and sitting in there in the ranch, you feel like the slow down a little bit, like,
Yeah,
so do you catch yourself being like, oh wow, I think I'm happy, and then you go like, stop, snap out of it, like
a little bit. I mean, like, I would have imagined that I'd sit down on the ranch for like 5 minutes and be like, okay, like, now I'm losing my mind. Like, what's happening? Like, what's going on? Like, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
You know, but that hasn't happened. It's actually been more of a shift to be like, wow, like, I don't have to be. I mean, I do have to be chasing my tail around and always trying to make stuff happen, but I can kind of taste what it's like to just chill. So yeah, it's exciting.
I mean,
Big steps.
those breaks are so, I mean, they feel counterproductive, but really
Whenever I'm
they're
not
helpful.
Whenever I'm not in Tennessee, I just want to go back to my goddamn ranch and just everyone leave me alone.
It's
Yeah.
a good sign.
that's been my feeling with this house too. Like, if I'm not here, it's fucking, I'm just counting down those days. I'm so
Yeah.
stoked. Which is like, I don't know, we have such a good time on tour also, you
Yeah.
know, like we make the most of it. But yeah, it
that
is
last
like,
run was great.
dude, unbelievable. The fact that we got in better shape on tour is like, it's unheard of. Like, we're the
Yeah.
first people to ever do that, I think, you know, like that we get home from tour healthier than when we left
Weighing
for tour.
less and,
Yeah.
and healthier.
Yeah.
I got to do that again. Like my diet, I still haven't been eating flour and sugar, but like my portion control's like gone gnarly. I'm
Yeah, that's
already back up over 175 pounds. I went from 185 like down to like 168. Throwing it all away.
But like, how do you feel? I think that's more important than the number.
You know, I've been taking the testosterone. I thought I was supposed to be feeling something by now.
Right,
like
like
it's
energy or something like that? Or what should
Yeah,
you feel?
like-
Yeah, right?
It's supposed to, like, people say that you feel like you can run through a wall, that you're hard as a rock, and you just want to fuck all day long, and that you have just tons of energy. And, like, none of that. But then again, they say that it takes, like, 4 to 6 weeks to really kick in, and I don't know if I've been shooting up for that long.
Yeah, I don't. Well, maybe though, right?
At
Close.
least 3 weeks.
Yeah,
At
getting
least
close.
3.
Look out, next week's gonna be rough.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Scott made this joke, but it's like, so you're gonna have more energy? Like you're gonna want to do more stuff all the time? Like, I mean, even just today, like, because I don't know. I don't know if it's like I don't know if I'm better or worse at time management than you. Because you're like, hey, let's go to do like sauna cold plunge right now. And it's like, oh, like, but we don't, my brain goes like, we don't have time to do that. Like, but like we did it. And like everything still happened, like
we did everything.
you'll look at a day and be like, oh yeah, dude, well, yeah, I'll just like, I don't know. It's like, okay, but isn't like a guy showing up with a wrecking ball? We were going to knock that thing over. You're like, yeah. Well, but I would the dentist first, and then we'll do that, and then we'll do a podcast or whatever. Like, and it feels sometimes like
I know,
you have bad time management, but like things do kind of you end up getting more done than if you were like someone who didn't try to pack everything into a day.
Yeah.
Your greatest strength is your greatest weakness.
That was epic. Like, we have so much shit to do. Like, hey, you want to run a mile real quick?
Yeah. It's like we got to get this video up. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's get that hike, huh? Like. Yeah, like,
dude, it's almost sunset.
Yeah.
We fucking blew it.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. But it all kind of gets done.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, this was awesome, dude. Thank you for taking the time to do this.
Thank you for everything, man. I love you guys.
I love you too, man.
Honestly.
And I'm so happy for you to have this spot. And
Thanks, dude.
it warms my heart to hear you say that's how I feel about this house in Tucson.
Yeah.
And dude, like, I remember the first time you told me, like, we were what? I feel like we were in some fucking other country for some reason. Where was it the first time?
When I was thinking about moving to Tucson?
When you first, and I was like, dude, you're out of your mind. I forget where the fuck we were, but it was just like, you're like, I'm thinking about moving. And I was like, I just don't get it. And your dad didn't get it. But, like, we don't give a fuck now. Like, we're, like, capable of being every bit as productive, if not more productive. Mm-hmm. Like, the remote working system, and I've said it, like, ad nauseum, like...
It's pretty sick.
Like, I'm in fucking Tennessee, you're in Argentina, like, DK's in fucking LA, like... scattered all over the fucking goddamn planet, and we're just crushing shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think you do an amazing job at that because it turns out, I don't know, I think like giving employees space to like live how they want to live is actually a really motivating and, I don't know, good move. It's a great boss move.
Well,
I feel very appreciative to you as well, I would like to say, because I think...
Yeah.
I fought it fucking as hard as I could.
Well, you were like, I don't, because it was like, you're like, we're doing a podcast all the time. You're like, I don't, like, because I was almost like quitting. At that point, the first time I said I'm moving to Tucson, that meant like, I'm kind of quitting working
But
together,
that was also, I think, probably like almost a fear-based reaction because at that time, I was not like thrilled and jazzed to be in LA. So I think a lot of that was like a protective energy over me too.
Yeah, I also just kind of lived with the philosophy like you got to kind of destroy and move on like often. So like you get these like legs up, like, and it's always worked for me. But I've sort of been rethinking that.
You're crazy. I told him, you're crazy.
I've sort of been rethinking that. Like, I can keep working for Steve. I don't need to like destroy that to like move on to something else, I don't know. It's interesting. But yeah, you're a good guy to work for, man. I love you. I like, you're my employer. So like our relationship is like sort of largely dictated around that, but you're also my friend, and I'm very grateful for that.
Well, likewise, man. I'm super grateful for you. And fuck yeah, man.
Fuck you.
All right, dude. Let's go get this fucking little gorgeous baby back on the bus she loves so much.
Yeah. All right. I thought you were about to say like, let's go. Edit. All right.
Run
Good night,
a few more
everybody.
miles.